This All Things Cybersecurity webinar is brought to you by ACI Learning. Be bold, train smart. And by Technado, your weekly source for the latest in security news. Join us every Thursday for a brand new episode. And in just a few short months, come on out to Hack SpaceCon. You can join us April 10th through the 13th in sunny Central Florida at the Kennedy Space Center. Welcome, and thanks so much for joining us for this webinar. I'm Sophie Goodwin. I'll be your host, moderator, proxy for this webinar. First one of the year. Happy New Year. Super excited to be back. And of course, I'm not alone. If you've been here before, you know that just off my camera is Mr. Daniel Lowrie, who's really going to be the ringleader of this operation, if we're being honest. How are you, Daniel?
They've chained me to the chair.
You can't see
Help me.
It's just out of frame. We've got him cuffed. Did you have a good New Year?
I did have a good New Year. It was a lot of fun. Spent some time with family, got to do a lot of interesting things. Of course, Christmas is right on those heels. It's always fun to get gifts. Right?
That is true. It's fun to get and give things. Yeah. This is the best part. But of course, we are ready to jump back into it and get to your questions. We do have a special guest with us today, do we not?
We do. And of course, we got to start 2024 off on the right foot. And if we want to make that happen, we should reach out to our good friend and who has been on the show many times and for good reason. It's none other than our friend John Hammond. John, welcome back to the show, sir. So glad to have you today. How are things?
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much. Things are excellent. Hey, I'm excited about the new year. Had a little great holiday season, a couple weeks of rest, and now back to the grind. But super duper flattered, super honored to be, the first guest to kick things off 2024.
Hey, you hold a level of prominence here at All Things Cyber that we would not want to see you fall from your lofty tower there. So we had to have you first in line out of the gate for 2024. And honestly, like you're always a great guest. You always bring great insights and answer questions very, very well. So it's always a pleasure to have you on. I'm sure our guests are excited to have you on as well. You make your rounds on the interwebs a lot for good reason. And that being said, that actually reminds me of something. You spent some time not too long ago, correct me if I'm wrong, at the People's Call Center. And you got to hang out with some really awesome hackers there and do some really fun stuff. Before I want to get how that went and get some insights from you on that. Before we do that, we actually have a little clip of you hanging out with them and doing some very funny things. So let's roll that clip, shall we?
About to go live. We got the hero John Hammond in the house. We got Ryan Montgomery in the house. We got a bunch of amazing scam baiters from GS9.
Do you have T0L's webcam up?
Yeah, I can pull that up right now.
So I'm ready to fire.
3, 2, 1. So right now we're trying to send a prompt to the scammer's computer so they can untape their webcam so we can see their face. So.
Oof. Big oof.
Big oof.
Big oof.
That was big oof.
Fire it again?
Yeah, no, please, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Oh, there it goes.
Yes!
No. Oh, wait.
Well, you're not going to be able to see it anyway because only one process can have a handle on the webcam at once.
Oh.
So you won't be able to see. Yeah, you didn't know that?
That's why we got the error the first time.
So there was a problem where you couldn't have the webcam open
at the same time. So right now we're trying to get around that by removing the option to open webcam when we run it. So we're going to see if it works right now.
Open it! 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 Open it!
Lick them lips, baby. Oh, man. Lick them lips.
What is it doing? Robbie's got some butter chicken stuck in his mustache or something.
Oh, that is too funny, And when I hear "lick them lips,"
that's a real.
That guy was really. I thought he was trying to get like a piece of hot dog off his. All right, there, because I get that from time to time. So some leftover mustard or whatever there, he's saving for later.
Yeah.
But to see Ryan Montgomery holding his phone, recording while it's kind of meta and kind of fun. Tell us a little bit about this. How'd you get hooked into doing this? I mean, you got to hang out with some obviously very fun hackers. If you're not watching Scammer Payback on YouTube, it's highly entertaining. You should definitely check that out. But give us a little bit of that, the elevator pitch on this, on what you did there.
Oh my goodness. Okay, thank you. I love talking about this. So if I start rambling or if I'm just yapping for too long, feel free to pull me back down to earth. For folks that might not be familiar, a little bit of background context. Well, we do a whole lot of cybersecurity, and we might be thinking, oh, blue team, red team, defense, offense, blah, blah, blah. I think there's a derivative or tangential world and realm to that where, of course, sure, evil adversaries out in the world, and especially scammers, the ones that might make a whole lot of phone calls to maybe fool or trick innocent, unknowing individuals or some elderly folks to either send them money or give them stuff from the bank, anything just to, you know, money is the motivator. So there's a community of folks that call scam baiting and scam baiters that will intentionally call the scammers to waste their time so that they're not affecting real potential victims, but hey, they're just spinning their cycles and spinning their wheels on someone that has a bit more know-how and knows that they're in on the game to intentionally disrupt the scammer's operations. So this YouTube channel, Scammer Payback, Pierogi, incredible human being, fantastic fella, has organized this event, now I think annual, called the People's Call Center, where we get a bunch of the scam bait community together and some of the maybe more traditional cybersecurity, InfoSec hacker folks like myself and Ryan Montgomery in on the scene to join the fight. And it was incredible. It was just this life changing whole event and experience because you kind of get to see what we do put in a whole nother light for the greater good to stop scams and those threats and the things out there in the world that target real people and do real damage. So the clip that you got to see was kind of a fun project for myself and Zero Day CTF, kind of the hacker handle for Ryan Montgomery, where say we had access to the scammer's computer, say we could see their webcam, and oftentimes to try and hide their identity, they'll put like a black tape or something to cover up their webcam. So I wanted to build a little bit of tooling, and for hey, of course, the tech folks in the show, it's just some simple Python code that we compiled with PyInstaller to make it a Windows executable, and we can get it to pop up and display. Your webcam is overheating. Your keyboard and mouse input has been blocked until you remove your webcam cover. So a little bit of a joke, a little bit of a social engineering trick so that we could see their face. And then Ryan, Zero Day CTF, would kind of move into his open source intelligence and all that wild witchcraft and voodoo magic he does to try and, hey, can we find this person based off their face? Can we get more information? Can we get enough evidence to really bring it to law enforcement and make a difference and try to stop these scammers and all their campaigns and operations? So incredible event. I had an absolute blast. I'm excited to do a little bit more of that this year. There is some stuff in the cooker, and I'm still working with Skimmer Payback and Nano Beta and all the folks you saw in that video. We're chatting right now, actually, off on the side. So very, very excited to kind of add that flair.
I love how John is multitasking as we speak. That just goes to show how good you are at doing this, John. You've really perfected the art of multitasking. Well, tell Skimmer Payback we said hello, and that's I would love to come and check that out. Reach out.
Yeah.
Right. Just to hang out and see what's going on. But that's really cool stuff. And like you said, these scammers that are out there, they're pilfering the pockets of like your grandma and stuff. And that's not cool. So to see that we're being able to like proactively use our hacking skills in a way that can stop that kind of thing from happening, it makes you feel like you're putting on your cape and your big red S and actually doing something that you can immediately see the benefit of that is stopping some bad things that are happening out there in the world. So very cool stuff. Everybody should check out that stuff as well. All right. That said, Sophia, you're looking at me, which means she has questions. And I don't mean,
that's,
where do we come from?
You gotta
where are we
get
going
specific.
kind of questions. Yes.
Where do we come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Generally speaking, I have a lot of questions all the time, but
She does.
right now I'm a proxy for your questions. So we do have some questions coming in. We've got some viewers on Zoom, YouTube, LinkedIn. So we'll start with this one. A viewer from Zoom named Victor. Victor wants to know, are there more opportunities in cloud security than maybe in the role of a SOC analyst?
Great question, Victor. I mean, I think that's probably one of the best questions you should be asking yourself right now. And John, I saw that you were kind of like, you are asking the good stuff right out of the gates, because cloud's kind of a big deal, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, John, you tell me if my meter is off a little bit, but the traditional pen tester role, web app security kind of thing has gotten a little saturated lately. So maybe going cloud might be a great way to go. What say you, sir?
Yeah, there's a whole lot to run down on this, and it's awesome and good question because cloud security, undoubtedly, like you mentioned, Daniel, is just popping off. It's booming. There is an absolute endless need and desire for the cloud security practitioners. Again, whether that's AWS, whether that's Azure, whether that's even Google Workspace, etc. Um, all that SSO, saying well, anything M365, of course. Like when you think of SOC or the Security Operations Center, it's kind of easy to naturally think of okay, you're kind of defending the endpoint, the device, the computer across your network because you want to be monitoring things happening in your environment. Um, but you have to think at the same time, cloud is a component of that. And if you want to be doing better and best defense that you can, you're still going to be looking at the logs and the audits, the artifacts from cloud activity, anything that might be happening in AWS, Azure, the list goes on and on. So honestly, the answer is yes, both. Honestly, there's an absolute need for both. I would. I hate to lean my hat on this, but it's like it's what you're most interested in. I think cloud might be a little bit hotter and sexier from the job hunt perspective, just because that is the new thing if it hasn't already been for however many years, but it is still absolutely in need and desire. But SOC is still a hefty player in that, I think, too.
I think it's yeah, I totally agree. A and B, I think that even if you're not super excited about doing cloud security, that's not kind of your thing. It might be a really good way to go because, as John just said, it is really hot right now. People have cloud systems and they need security because, for whatever reason, we just don't think that way as a species to go, hey, we just spun up this new thing. Should we add security to it? Nah, nobody uses it. Why go through all that time and effort, right? So it becomes this big open playground until everybody starts to rely on it heavily. And it's like, oh no, we got to bolt on some security like super fast. And now, oh, well, nobody knows how to use it yet. What do we do? So they start hiring people left and right to get in that space that know anything about security and to start building security tools and start doing security practices in that area. So go grab those jobs. Even like I said, even if it's not your thing, A, you never know, it might become your thing. But B, now you have a job as a security person. That is going to parlay you to your next job as a security person. And you got to think of it, it's 3D chess, right? And 4D chess. What's your next step? What's your next two steps? Again, this might be a great way to get your foot in the door because, as I mentioned, pen testing roles, SOC analyst roles, web application security roles, those things are very well vetted. And a lot of people want to get into that because it's really interesting, it's really fun, but it's really hard to do because of that. So if you take the side road of, hey, let me jump over here to cloud where there's plenty of open work, I can more easily get a job and doing security. Now I can just pivot off into the thing I want to do because now I have that experience that these damn job listings keep asking for in entry level positions for 10 years of experience. Well, now I've got that, right? Because yes, I've been working as a cloud security analyst. So it's a great way to go. That's my take on that.
Oh, valuable information.
I'm
here.
off camera, but
Yeah,
I'm
John's just
nodding my head feverishly.
all
Like,
the
yes,
things.
that's correct. Yes, all of it.
Oh man. Well, that's the first time I've ever heard cloud described as sexy. So thank you for that. That was new for me. Cloud is sexy. We'll go ahead and jump over to if you're ready for another question. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are prepared. Some of these questions, I mean, they're hard hitting.
John, have you centered? Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay.
I've come back.
Okay. We're switching gears a little bit with this one. It comes to us from Larry, who's watching on LinkedIn. Larry says, this might sound dumb. My webcam can't overheat? Question mark. I have the same question. Is that possible?
John, is it
I don't
possible,
think
sir?
so. I've never seen the camera that I'm like using may very well be overheating, but you're totally right. It's a ruse, it's a lie. But I will say, pivoting back to the scam baiting conversation, uh, scam baiters are not the brightest of the bunch. I don't know how to most politely say that. So even just something simple and stupid as your webcam is overheating, please uncover your webcam cover. It worked. We got that hit on maybe 6 or 7, almost maybe a dozen or so, and it was just incredible. There's a shot in that video if you go take a look at the People's Call Center recap. The moment where I'm like, yes, the adrenaline rush of it worked.
Is it just me, or do you just enjoy the irony? It tastes so good of the fact that you are using the same types of scams, preying on their ignorance of technical systems to get them to do things that they shouldn't do and give you the access that you are looking for. You're literally just holding up a mirror to them and going, "This is what you do. How does it feel? Do you think it's awesome? Stop it. Stop." These crazy people. But yeah, just because they're running a scam doesn't mean that they are, they have a technical acumen that's through the roof. They just know how to run their scam. That's their job. It's what they do every day. So they fall prey to social engineering attacks just like everybody else.
Oh, scammers. They're just like us. How refreshing.
They put one leg at a time, right? Put pants on one leg at a time, just like you and I. The difference is when their pants are on, they steal money from you.
Wow. That was, thank you. What a way to wrap that up. Thank you.
That's deep. Yeah, pithy.
Thought you were going to say, like, once their pants are on, they go to prison or something. Yeah. But no, the dark ending. Okay.
Maybe.
If we're lucky.
Yeah.
Well, we can go ahead and keep going with the questions if that's all right with you. We are going to definitely have plenty, and I know we'll have maybe a special segment at the end for some of these questions, but we'll get to that later.
Depends on how many we get to, right?
That's true. That's true. It depends on how many we go through. So send in your questions. This one comes to us from Wayne, who's watching on Zoom. Wayne wants to know SANS versus Masters of Cybersecurity. I'm assuming he's asking for a preference, maybe?
So obviously this is so SANS training is super expensive. I see John's face. He's like, hold on, you might be able to do both. Versus a master's degree in cybersecurity. John, I'm gonna let John take this because I saw him tapping away. He did his due diligence. He's got it up. He's ready to fly. Take it away, sir.
No, I couldn't tell if I misheard, so I went to go Google because I didn't know if you were saying Masters of Cybersecurity, like a Master Chef, a TV show, or a master class.
That would be awesome,
That's
by
how
the way.
it was phrased. So I was like, maybe it's a training program I don't know about.
Yeah, no, we need Gordon Ramsay to be like, this is complete garbage. Who wrote this disgusting tool?
TikTok.
I would not use this on my grandmother to scam her out of money.
But no, a master's in cybersecurity, if you're considering like, the postgraduate degree in formal education. Let me be the first to admit, I'll go out and say, I don't have a master's in cybersecurity, and that should not be a compass or temperature check for what you want to pursue. A lot of my good friends do have their masters, but SANS on its own and SANS training courses is incredible. Top notch, top tier, comes with a price tag, understandably so. But they have some of the best stuff. And for all the right reasons, that is one great thing to pursue. Same thing with the master's degree. I don't know how that varies between university or college or school or institute. But if I may, I think, Daniel, what you were alluding to is that you can kind of blend these two. SANS has the SANS Institute that is literally kind of like an education, like a formal, curriculum and program and education that you can get a degree out of. I think, and I'm trying to Google again off on the side, cybersecurity master's degree from the SANS Technology Institute. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
I would check that out if you haven't.
Yeah, as soon as I saw this, I was like, hold on, my brain is accessing. Yes, there is a thing where SANS says, hey, y'all want that master's degree? We got that, right? It's all over here. You just got to sign up and pay the money, and you can do that. So best of both worlds right there. Because SANS, like you said, obviously they are well known as the, apex predator in the, cybersecurity training sphere. It's great.
That is a fantastic way to put it.
Right? They have no one after them, right? There's a reason that their courses are $7,000, $8,000 a piece. And like John said, there's a hefty price tag. There are things you can do to, like, if you did want to take traditional SANS training to kind of bring that price point down a bit. You can do scholarships. You can act as like a helper for one of the instructors. So you'll be setting up labs and doing all this stuff, and that can drastically help reduce your price tag because you're basically working for them while you're taking the training at the same exact time. So things you can do, Net Wars. I think if you do something with Net Wars, you can get some SANS training through that if you're a winner of Net Wars. So lots of opportunity to get in SANS if you don't have the Do-Re-Mi to do it. Obviously, if you go, I don't know if they have like FAFSA and all the traditional lending capabilities. You'd have to look into that as far as their college degree goes, but you just got to look into it and see what's up.
If I may add one more asterisk, that I think the cost in a lot of those SANS courses, I think, is because they've leaned more into a lot of their larger customers, like big Fortune whatever number businesses and government and military. That's no secret. When I was in the Coast Guard, I got to jump into some SANS courses. I took 560 with Ed SCOTUS, which was awesome. Did 505, did 572 back in those days, and got to listen in and sneak some 660 and 760 just to like put my ear against the door. Like, what are they doing in there? But no, if I know that's a whole nother can of worms, a whole nother life direction. But if you have any of that, maybe government or military affiliation, or you have a company and you're maybe already employed working for a spot that might have some budget for training, it's worth asking those questions and seeing if they can help you kind of get a foot in the door for some of those.
That government, they like to go money printer, go burr. Right. There you go. You need money? Here, I got all sorts of money. Just make it.
We can make it. Yeah.
All right. Hopefully we answered that question for you. And now you can be well on your way to finding an answer.
Yeah.
That's real.
You described SANS as the apex predator, and I was thinking more Hannah Montana, but best of both worlds.
It's an interesting.
We are breaking ground with new terms.
These analogies.
Right? You know, she's the pop star by day or pop star by night or whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who Hannah Montana is.
Okay, well, I'm just checking because sometimes I wonder. I don't catch all your references.
I have an entire shrine dedicated to Hannah Montana.
I knew it.
Right?
I knew it.
Have you ever used the Hannah Montana Linux distribution? That's a thing.
I didn't even know that was a thing, bro.
No, that's a thing.
Yeah, I knew that. That's actually why I brought it up.
If you don't start using Hannah Montana Linux, I'm gonna at least spin up a VM. Right? Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, we'll go ahead.
I'll have it done by the end of the day.
I want to drop this in chat.
I would love if you did that on the next webinar. If you showed your Hannah Montana Linux distribution.
Yeah, maybe in the next course we do, I'll use Hannah Montana Linux.
Oh, I would love that. I would like to reserve my spot as a host on that course.
I could hear the ACI enterprise leadership right now going, "No, you won't."
They're on their way right now. They're going to curb that. Well, we do have more questions coming in, as much as I love to talk about Hannah Montana. This one comes to us from Tony, who's watching on LinkedIn. Tony wants to know, how can you experience that in-person call center that we showed in the video, or a familiar group to gain more experience?
Oh, that's great. I've never had experience with that. So, John, I'm going to lean on your limited experience with it.
That sort of work and that effort is incredible, and obviously undoubtedly resonates really, really well with people, to the point where Daniel said, and I'm sure you in the chat and a lot of people are like, hey, I want to help. I want to do that too. How can I be a part of that? How can I join the fight? And it is for the greater good. I know there may be some raised eyebrows at some parts, understandably so, but I do hope that is a good initiative and wanting to drive change in that way. So AnyDesk, and this is not by any means just kind of a call out to them, but they've been great, and I think they worked really well with Scammer Payback to have a week of that activity close by you all over, I think, in Florida, by the AnyDesk office, and they had a lot of community members. They had just a lot of people, regular human beings, that wanted to come in and just sort of try their hand at making some calls and seeing how they can kind of get in the fight, because there is a little bit of knowledge behind it, right? You do kind of have the know-how of how to make calls safely, especially if you want to let them get into your computer, how to do that the right way.
I would imagine that's a fairly closed group of people, because of what they're doing. They cannot reveal their secrets and things very easily. So to be able to get into a group of people that are doing that would take quite a bit of effort, and becoming fairly well known and attaching to people. A lot of human networking would be involved into getting involved with that, I'm sure.
The core, without a doubt, yeah, I think that inner circle, if I may say that, is a little bit more tight knit, but there's still a lot of great initiatives to try to get folks all in the mix. If you look into some of the other scam bait channels, Deo Club, Nano Bader, Midnight, Jim Browning, of course, Pleasant Green, Chris Rock. There are so many we could enumerate, but it's a good movement.
Do they have any Discord or anything that somebody might be able to at least start a conversation?
Skimmer Payback has a Discord.
Okay.
And there that has an incredible amount of people.
Yeah.
If folks are curious, yeah, that's one
That-
place to go take
That's
a
probably
look.
a good spot.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
then.
I mean,
I don't have anything to add. I think you summed it up quite nicely.
Yeah.
But we do have more questions. I'm
okay,
assuming
well, that's
that's-
good.
I'm
Good to
assuming
know.
that's
I
why you're
thought
looking
Sophia
my
was
way.
like, I don't have any more questions.
No, I
Keep
always have questions. Always. It's my job here.
Yeah.
We do have some questions coming in from Zoom, so we'll jump over there. We've got a question from Dinesh. Dinesh wants to know which career path is the best to choose right now, artificial intelligence or cybersecurity? Which one will have more value in the upcoming future?
I love these kind of questions because they're subjective in nature, right? So I can go, yes. Right? The real question is, Dinesh, which is best for this, right? What is the thing that, now if you're asking, is artificial intelligence statistically more interesting to people in general? That's a different question, right? That's a little more objective that we can go, oh, well, it would seem that because I know that like prompt engineering is becoming a job role, like a quote unquote actual job role. You can go to like Dice, a Monster and all that and say, hey, I'm looking to become a prompt engineer. And you can start working on that. But I mean, cybersecurity is not going anywhere anytime soon. So, and correct me if I last time I checked, cybersecurity is still the top of the pyramid as far as what we need, right? AI is going to become more, but I still think cybersecurity is at the top of the pyramid. John, what's your take on this?
Yes. Again, it's kind of the easy default answer. I there is a lot of conversation, especially for AI, right? Undoubtedly, yeah, I think cybersecurity is still never going to go away. It can't, it won't, it's not going to. Artificial intelligence and how it morphs itself into that realm and ecosystem is going to happen, I think. Maybe, yes, sort of, kind of here now. Sure, you can talk about deepfake. You can talk about, kind of spoofing a voice call. You can talk about using Chat GPT to make phishing emails or to crank out code. Maybe, create new exploits or attack scripts. Hey, can you ask Chat GPT to write you ransomware? Maybe if you trick it the right way. Or can you do that for better detection? Can you tell it to write YAR rules or Sigma rules, or have it look through a dump of artifacts of packet transfer, blah, 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 blah. It is a tool, and let me emphasize that. It's one of the tools to help you, but I haven't seen it be the revolutionary thing yet. I know, yes, in some kind of perspectives it might be, but I'm leaning on, and there's an incredible thread. This is a Twitter or an X post, right, by Jason Lang. I think he's one of the red teamers and hackers over at Trusted Sec. Curious Jack is his Twitter handle, but he put out a really cool listing of like, hey, here are what I have seen across 2023, now moving into 2024, on the state of the landscape, the state of the cybersecurity community. And I wanted to go get his words because I'm parroting. He says AI hasn't replaced anything yet. We're still in the upswing of using it to assist with coding rather than full service replacement. Some neat AI-based red team products have been starting to emerge, but it hasn't been a complete wash over the cybersecurity realm. So if that's a pool that you want to play in, more power to you. But it is your interest, it is your passion, it is what you want at the end of the day. Both are fantastic and phenomenal fields.
I like how you put it as a tool. It's a tool. So if you're interested in cybersecurity and you're interested in AI and you're wondering, well, should I travel down one road or the other? Obviously, that's a decision you have to make for yourself. It's a personal thing. But if you're interested in cybersecurity and you know that AI is a tool in cybersecurity, you can kind of kill two birds with one stone. Get really good at using AI to do cybersecurity. And then you've kind of set yourself ahead of the pack, at least at this point, until it becomes a standard where if you don't know AI for cybersecurity, then we can't use you. So go ahead and get ahead of that curve and start learning how to incorporate AI in creating tools for you to do better cybersecurity. in creating methods for and getting insights to cybersecurity controls and how to do all sorts of and how to put things together. And like I said, like working with it as that tool set. And then you can say, I can leverage, you put this on your resume, I can leverage AI for increased cybersecurity posture, right? To decrease your attack landscape or your threat landscape, and all this other stuff, and attack surfaces. And I'm able to, you put that kind of thing on your resume, people are like, wow, you're already doing that kind of stuff. That means that you are staying on the bleeding edge of this technology and this community. So we definitely want someone like that working on our team. And that's kind of what it boils down to.
I'm assuming you both concur on that because there was deafening silence.
We
after
were
that
waiting
remark.
for your retort.
I'm
Yeah.
supposed to have a retort?
Yeah.
I didn't know I was
I
supposed
would
to
love
bring
your
it.
insight.
Yeah, bring
Sophie,
in.
yeah.
I mean-
What's your AI hot take?
Yeah, okay. I think what you said about how it's more about what you're excited about is huge, because I think it would be very difficult for me to get into something if I wasn't at least somewhat curious and interested in it. So AI is interesting. It's not necessarily something that I'm super, super passionate about. I think it's cool to kind of mess around with. But I think for me, that would not be the way to go. It doesn't mean it's not a good field to get into.
It's no underwater basket weaving. Huh?
Sure. Yeah, you know me. College educated over here.
That's right.
But yeah, I think it's more about what's interesting to you personally and what kind of lights that fire for you. So maybe that's AI, maybe it's cybersecurity, maybe it's some unnamed third thing.
She studies Icelandic philosophy.
I do. I did take beginning Greek. So I did take some oddball classes. I was a telecom major, so that was not relevant to my studies at all. But that's college for you. So we'll go ahead and move. I'm going to get in trouble if I keep talking about that. We'll
The
move
person
on.
thinking about the master's degree is like, maybe not.
I got in trouble for saying something about my, or I didn't get in trouble, but I got a little finger wag for being like, oh yeah, I went to college and I don't think I'd do it again. They were like, nah, hey, you gotta be careful. Because it was a fun experience, but I just mean I wouldn't go back and get like a second degree, you know?
Or at all.
The one degree was plenty for me personally, but I also just got out like a couple of years ago. So maybe it's still fresh, you know? Maybe in
The
10
wound
years,
is still open, huh?
Yeah, it's still, still smarts a little bit. We'll move on because I'm gonna get myself in trouble.
You are. Just digging that hole deeper with every word.
My mom's probably laughing though.
Yeah.
We'll move on to this question that comes to us from a user watching on Zoom. Dave wants to know, this is kind of it's a little more of a case study type question. Dave says, I've been running my computer repair business for 12 years. I have an associate in computer science and I want to move into the MSP space. What certificates do you recommend for this move?
That's an interesting question. I see John's face lit up like a Christmas tree over this question. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take that, John, as you fervently type away.
I was going to pass the baton to you to let you kick the ball here, but no. So my day job is Huntress, right? And we try to offer cybersecurity and protection and support for managed service providers and small mid-market businesses. And it's funny because coming from military background and government and more traditional InfoSec things and not strictly IT or managed service provider and MSP, because it's a whole nother world. And I know business operations takes priority. Cybersecurity has to be a part of that, but I know your absolute full focus is not, are my servers patched? Do we have things rolling with two-factor authentication, blah, 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 cybersecurity all the time? I know that, look, you need to make money and do your job and have the focus there. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ramble and add all that color and context, but I think the certifications that you might need to get into or might be most interested in should be the ones tangential to the tooling and the software stack that you want to bake into your security posture. So if you know you're going to be using Microsoft 365, you know you're going to be using Azure AD or Entra ID now, Microsoft offers a lot of their Microsoft certifications for an Azure Administrator Associate. And I'm trying to go take a look at some of the others: Identity and Access Administration, Certified Messaging and Fundamentals, et cetera, et cetera. Or if you know you're an AWS shop, it's worth taking a look at some of those. I think that will help you even on both ends, knowing, how to protect, how to secure this thing, but also just how to do it and how to use it. So,
I love that. Just how to do this, because I mean, we got a guy who works here and he's a whiz at Microsoft 365. He knows that thing in and out. And I'm like, man, I hope they're compensating you well to keep you, because that is an in-demand skill right now. And if you want to get an MSP fired up, if you can help people do, like John said, is it ID or AD? I know they changed it.
ID. If
Why
it's
do they
not
do
more
this?
confusing after Azure.
Why do they
AD?
do
Yeah.
this? Right. But get good at that, and you can support a Microsoft 365 environment. There is no end to work that will come your way, because it's very complex. There's a lot of moving parts. And if you can work your way around that thing like a champion, and you got the certs to back that up, there'd be plenty of people be happy to have you on board and help them out with that, because they struggle with it. So, yeah,
And
good
see,
stuff.
I think down below in the little like corner or something of this little show here, there might be a couple. Are those courses or training and education for Azure?
We
maybe?
don't like to brag, but
I think you guys do some good stuff.
Yeah,
I'm throwing it out
well,
there.
thank you. We work real hard to make sure that if you are looking to get those types of certifications, yes, you can go to ACI Learning, check us out, IT Pro. And at IT Pro, we have a whole video library that consists of, hey, I need to learn about these technologies. We'll help you get that done, and even walk you through like some of the things you're going to need to know so you can go pass those exams. So I didn't want to humble brag, but John forced the issue.
I did it for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a student of IT and ACI Learning.
Yeah,
everything that I know, which admittedly, I've only a couple years in, so I have a lot to learn. But everything I do know, I learned here. I did not really know much coming in. Besides,
I can attest to that.
Yeah, he knows. There was many a day where he had to grit his teeth and just smile. Just
I can't find good help.
That was the face that he would make. We'd do these courses, and he'd be like, all right, let me break this down for you, because I was having a hard time. So everything I learned here through teaching courses with Daniel and just watching some stuff that we have.
You know what though? It made for a great, like, you truly played the learner.
Yeah,
it
was not an act
in those series, because you
real.
were learning the stuff. You did not know about those things, and she would be afraid to ask me questions. I'd be like, no, ask
That's
those.
what we want.
There's no dumb question here. Ask that question, because I guarantee somebody else is going to ask that question too. And we like to keep it like that. That's how we roll here at ACI Learning.
Yeah, and still everything that's coming up, it's going to be stuff I'm learning. I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
No, Dave, our wonderful question asker. If I may, I don't know if it's useful for you or if it's things you already know about, but some other added resources for managed service provider efforts and ventures and initiatives. Reddit, the r/MSP subreddit, is a gold mine. There are a lot of folks either just chit-chatting on either what they're up to, what they're doing, things that they're seeing. And MSPs Are Us, I think, is the Discord channel for a lot of that community. Like Toys R Us, the letter R, and us, and then MSPs.
Do you have to type it backwards?
But Slack, something. If you're in Slack, which a lot of folks are, the MSP Geek Slack community is incredible, and the MSP Geek conference that they started up last year and should be doing more with Mendy Green and Kyle Spooner, Wes Spencer, other incredible folks. It's a whole wide world.
That's a really good piece of advice, John. Right there is go to a conference for MSPs. And start rubbing shoulders and elbows with these people and get their take on. Everybody John, how many cons have you been to, right? We love to just start talking. And you get the motor running and we cannot stop. Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Do you carry the 7? What's the square root of infinity? Because I don't know. This is hard with the math. But you start getting in those people's way and they go, wow, you're really highly motivated. You got a lot of initiative going on. When you get them together in a room, they just love to start helping. They love to start just giving you information. So going to a conference, find an MSP conference near you and go find the big MSP conference that's happening this year. And if you have to, save up and go to that, because that's going to be totally worth it.
Well, all right.
Oh, you are all at IT Nation. Is that right? One of the ConnectWise ones. Is that right?
Yeah. Ronnie did a bunch of MSP conferences. I'm not as up to date with those. So sorry.
Whole new world, Dave. Going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
It looks like Dave said he went to 3 MSP conferences last year. So you're on the right track.
Yeah. All right, cool.
He knows what
we're preaching the choir. Yeah. We can shut up.
You know the thing. You're doing great. Well, we did have we also get like we get questions, of course, in the chat, but we get comments as well. We had somebody that was complimenting John's voice. We had somebody that was saying college is great for beer pong, so it's fun to read those comments. But we also had somebody that said they liked my earrings, so thank you for that. I appreciate that.
I liked your earrings yesterday better.
You guys can't see
What
my
was I wearing
earrings.
You were wearing the
They're covered.
DMGs yesterday.
Oh, it was I had
Yeah.
little Game Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, little Game Boy Advances. Sorry, I can't
Not
wear them
advanced,
every
they
day.
were original Game Boys.
Were they?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I have so many earrings, you know. It's just,
She does.
it's just hard to keep track.
Yeah.
It's the one problem that I have. Too many earrings. It's never a bad problem to have.
Yeah.
We've got a kind of a fun question that came to us from Zoom. This one comes to us from Wayne.
We like fun.
We do like fun. All the questions are fun, but this is it's a little bit of a silly question.
Okay.
Wayne wants to know, what is your favorite cyber movie for all three of you? I just preface this by saying I don't have one.
Oh man, why do you got to ask this question?
I told you it was fun.
John, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Oh.
Because I already got my answer.
You go first, because I gotta think. Yeah.
So it's probably a toss-up between War Games and another movie you may or may not have heard of called The Manhattan Project, which has John Lithgow, and it's more of a social engineering kind of movie. There's this kid, he's pretty smart, and his mom's boyfriend works at a plutonium factory that just moved into town. And
As you do.
he uses social engineering and his smarts to break in and steal plutonium. It's an 80s flick, you know, the loom of nuclear war always on our backs. So, but War Games is probably the more straightforward, they talked about war dialing and backdoors and just some like physical hacks for breaking in and out of physical places, phone systems. It had a lot going on in there. So it was one of the impetuses to me going down that road and being interested and like, wow, that's really cool. And of course all the others, but if I had to pick one, it would probably be War Games, closely followed by Manhattan Project.
Okay, John, do you have your answer ready, or you need more time to think?
He's like, that wasn't a movie.
No, it's last night we watched Leave the World Behind, which is one of the new like Netflix movies that is directed, I think, or put together by Sam Esmail, the same fellow that did Mr. Robot, the TV show. Mr. Robot was great, but it's easy. You know, I think folks will think up The Matrix. Of course, War Games is up there. You could probably count Jurassic Park as a cybersecurity movie, which probably should be my favorite, just off of the joke.
Absolutely.
Looking back, maybe this is an oddball one, but have you seen The Imitation Game?
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
It's this, Alan Turing, the story of Alan Turing and the Enigma. And I don't know if you can squarely put that in the cybersecurity bracket, but it's a lot of cryptography.
I think
I would say so. Because of that, right? It's all about code breaking and using computers to brute force through a code. So I don't know how you don't put it in the cybersecurity bin.
Fun fact about me, I cry at sad movies. And The Imitation Game makes me bawl my eyes out. I cry like a baby.
I love that. I love that about you. He's a hacker with a heart, ladies and gentlemen.
Hackers, they're people too.
It's very moving and a strong impact. So if you haven't seen The Imitation Game, it's
flick.
a beautiful story. So.
Oh. Well, for me, it's Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase. So moving on, we will. I'm just kidding. I've never seen that movie. We'll move on. I don't think I've seen a. I don't think I've ever seen a cybersecurity like one. I mean, unless Jurassic Park counts. But,
Jurassic Park totally counts.
Okay, well then by default, I guess it's that one. I need to catch up, I guess.
He literally says, "I hate this hacker crap."
Okay, well there you go. If that's all it takes, then Jurassic Park, mine number one.
Numero uno.
I've seen it.
You've never seen The Net. You've never seen.
I looked up. I'm like cyber movies. I'm like, maybe I have seen one and I just don't know. Went through the whole list and not
Sneakers
one.
is a good one.
I've heard of Minority Report. I've heard of Minority Report. I'm familiar with it, but I've never actually sat down and watched it. So I have to add it to
I noticed that that's the common answer you give about movies. Is I never actually.
I'm too busy gaming.
Yeah, apparently so.
Apparently,
video games will ruin your kids, ladies and gentlemen.
Too busy gaming.
Take that Joy-Con out of their hands right now. Smack it out of there. No, you'll end up like Sophia. Never see a movie. You'll have some sort of scoliosis from sitting here playing your stupid game.
We were just talking earlier. I'm having like back issues.
She's having back issues.
That's why. Oh, it's the gaming.
That's
it. You got me.
Found the culprit. She's blaming her pillow.
Oh boy, I like those questions. They're fun. We have another fun question if you guys are up for
Yeah,
it.
go for it.
This one comes from Monty, who's watching on LinkedIn. Monty says it was a question for the chat, but we'll put it here. Who has a better voice, John Hammond or Jason Thor Hall of Pirate Software?
Jason Thor Hall has an amazing voice. So I was watching him the other day, and he was talking about how he went through a second puberty. And if you look at his early content, his voice is much higher pitched. And it happens from time to time in some men where they hit like a second puberty and it deepened his voice.
Interesting.
So he does have an amazing voice.
I'll have to look.
Pirate Software has been absolutely blown up. I saw
Yeah.
all his success with YouTube Shorts, and I love his stuff. I don't know if I could do a good Thor impression. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could replicate
Yeah.
how he talks.
Can you go that low?
This is when I was working at Blizzard. There was the mass layoffs, and they came out through the back door and the front door. Yeah, I don't think I can. It's not.
You can't hit it, man. He's got
bass.
He's got some timber rattling
Just
bass.
naturally.
Yeah, the guy's like the Wagner of hackers.
What a comparison!
You know who
Wow.
Wagner is, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm just.
So,
but
when I
I've never
wake
heard
up in
this
the
guy
morning,
before.
So Wagner used to use what's called an octabass in his
Okay.
symphony, which takes two people to play. One person works the bow, and the other person stands on like a step ladder and hits the fretboard. Like,
Yeah.
yes. So they said the rafters would literally shake and tremor when they played Wagner in the opera halls.
Okay.
That is Thor's voice. That's what I hear.
Now I gotta look it up
Yeah.
now. I've heard the name, but I've never heard him speak.
Yeah.
So that's next on my list, I
Oh,
guess.
yeah.
After all the cybersecurity movies that I have to watch.
And
I'll add it.
he's a grade A red teamer cybersecurity guy. Like I
Okay.
would love to have him on this show, honestly. That would
Well,
be
we'll-
awesome.
we'll
If
put
anybody
him on
knows
the-
him,
yeah.
tell him. You got to go on All Things. All the cool kids go here.
He
Tell him to have his people.
I was
call
trying to
on
look.
people.
He won one of the DEF CON CTFs, I think, some time ago, and got a black hat.
Wow.
Black badge. Sorry.
Black badge,
So
yeah.
I think that great history in that for sure.
Well, that is a glowing recommendation. I will have to check him out. Maybe we can have his people reach out.
Yeah,
and
never know.
Get him on the
Never
show.
know.
We've got transitioning into the regular questions now. We've got a question from YouTube. The username, I would try to pronounce it, but it's numbers and letters, so I'm sorry, I would just butcher it. But this user wants to know if you think session cookies and tokens will be phased out, or will FIDO2 be more widely adopted?
I mean, maybe eventually. John, what do you think? I mean,
I was
cookies.
gonna go find my
Are you pulling out your YubiKey?
my YubiKey. Yeah. It's over in the keychain in the other room. But
Yeah.
Session tokens will never go away because they can't. I don't know. Maybe that's way too
Too
far-sighted or nearsighted.
like yeah.
But we talk a lot about that, especially because when we're chatting over for day job, right? A little bit more Microsoft 365, a little bit more clouds, a little bit more identities. And look, whether or not you get a fish for some evil Jinx demo for, oh, cool, reverse proxy, man in the middle attacks to get those session cookies and browser session stuff. But no, even when you use like Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel on your desktop, if that is an app that's signed into Microsoft 365, it's like, oh, well, you're not even opening a web browser to get those session cookies, but even that application has those tokens in memory. So there are some other neat tools and scripts. Hey, you can do some mini dump to just carve out the info and go find some session tokens that then you can use to go beat up the API in the cloud and any of those services to get into your email and then your calendar and then schedule meetings with your teammates and send messages across Microsoft Teams. So that is its own thing. I don't know if they will be phased out. I think Microsoft is trying a heck of a lot of the new things with their FIDO2 and YubiKeys, and passkey is supposed to be a thing. Is that right? Do you know much about that passkey, Daniel?
No, I haven't heard passkey, honestly.
Okay.
That's about, it's I was sitting here thinking
Learn
about
together.
how enterprises might adopt more FIDO2 and move away from cookies and tokens. If you want to kind of like, obviously using something like a YubiKey is much more secure than just a token or tokens in general, right? Or session tokens or cookies. But if you want these companies to adopt that faster, we as like end users should start adopting it more. So you got to start a grassroots campaign to get people to go, if you can get buy-in from regular grandma out there that's logging into her Wells Fargo account, and it's like it's not an uncommon thing for someone to have a YubiKey or something of the like stuck to the end of their keychain, that's when you'll start to see that become more prevalent, and then those older forms will go the way of the dodo eventually.
Well, all right.
You
Make
gotta
2024 the year.
Yes, right. That's right. Make it happen.
Make 2024 the year
Yeah.
we move to hardware tokens.
Year of the Fido.
All right. New year, new stuff. We
That's
love to
right.
see it. Well, I know that we're coming up close to the end of the hour, so that means it is time.
It is time.
For a recently introduced segment. Pretty fun. I think we have a clip leading into it, so let's go ahead and take a look. So this is going to be our rapid fire section. I believe you have 30 seconds to answer the question. We're going to run through them as fast as possible, try to get through as many questions as we can before the end of the show. Are you guys feeling prepared?
Oh man,
stressing me out.
Yeah,
I know. I know.
I was gonna take during the video, walk away. What's happening now?
Yeah.
If you
oh, there's someone at the door.
What are you gonna do?
If you fail, no big deal, but you're fired. So we'll just keep that in mind. High stakes. Are we ready?
Potato.
Let's go ahead and jump in. We got a question from Dan watching on Zoom. Wants to know what your favorite cybersecurity book is.
Oh, advanced penetration testing.
Sandworm.
All right. I'm going to say the book Anthony Sequeira loaned me, which I think was a training book because I did read some of it. I don't have a favorite cybersecurity book. Oh. Next question. This one comes. I don't have one.
So we have more time. We could throw more.
I mean, if you have other books that you like, but yeah, I don't have.
I just threw out an answer.
Yeah. Next question.
Next question.
This is rapid fire, ladies and gentlemen.
This is rapid fire.
Yeah.
Comes to us from Mark watching on Zoom. He recently interviewed for a job where a large part of the work would have taken place in cloud infrastructure. So, what are good cybersecurity options within cloud to continue education in cloud security?
John
Carlos Pull-Up.
He's asking ChatGPT.
Individual. No. Carlos Pull-Up, the individual that helped put together LinPeas and Purple Panda and all these other kind of well-known tools, has just recently put out a training course called Huntress AWS Education, and that is a fantastic resource that I would recommend, especially if you're kind of getting into cloud and you know it's AWS. I want to give him the best shout out and love that I can with that one. Huntress AWS training.
I was going to say, learn Kubernetes.
Okay, and right on time. Good job. This one comes to us from Claudio watching on LinkedIn. He's new to cybersecurity. What's a good path to follow to become a professional? He likes the defensive posture.
Oh man, that's not a 30-second question. But go, John, go.
Blue Team Labs. blueteamlabs.online has a lot of great education and exercises to be able to practice, cutting up some network packet track and logs and memory forensics. That is a good one that is fine-tuned and tailored toward the defensive perspective.
Surprised you didn't throw the Security Plus at the beginning of that, and then Blue Team Labs.
There you go. Oh, they added a sound effect. How cool is that? All right. Next one comes to us from Victor watching on Zoom. John, if we were in a Terminator movie scenario, would you be in the top 5 of their blacklist?
I don't know.
What do you think? Do you think you'd be in the top 5?
Well,
yeah.
What are the qualities that the Skynet is looking for to kill someone?
Maybe.
That is a solid
absolutely,
answer.
Positively, maybe.
All right. We'll take it. We'll take it. And in 15 seconds or less. This one comes to us from Mohammed watching on YouTube. Mohammed wants to know, besides studying networking and cybersecurity, what else is important to focus on for training?
Operating systems is good. Programming. Cloud.
I'd say baselining, kind of knowing what's normal, trying to get a feel for what just naturally happens on your computer on the endpoint. That is what I would toss out there.
Yeah. I always like to know operating systems really well, because then living off the land becomes a whole lot easier if you make it that way.
That is a good point. That's as good as answer as any. We'll move on. This one comes
Sophie,
to us.
this is stressing me out.
I know. It's okay. We got time.
He has a bead of sweat.
The handkerchief's
So
going to come
here's
out.
the thing, everyone. Is it hot in here? Seems hot.
We have a question. It says they're watching from Facebook. Timmy on Facebook. A company I'm applying for had AWS certifications as a preference of theirs. Where do I even begin with AWS certs?
Was it the AWS Cloud Practitioner, or is that their
I think so. That sounds
first?
right. Like the
Cert.
kind of entry level type
Yeah.
cert? I think so. He's doing some
I see
Googling.
John
He's fact
Googling.
checking.
No, I was trying to go find the link, especially for that. Again, that Huntress one I think would be worthwhile if you're trying to get into some of the penetration testing or hacking. That is Huntress, ARTE. And yes, anything more of the administration and structure of it, I would definitely take a look at those AWS specific ones.
All right. I'll cut the names for now because we're trying to rapid fire. This question says, what are good ways to get educated and trained with hands-on experience in SSO and cloud security?
Hands-on experience with SSO and cloud security. I guess Huntress again, right? Do they do hands-on stuff?
Yeah, I
there?
feel bad. They do. Yeah. SSO is an interesting curveball because you don't normally see that as like a focal point.
I mean, I guess you could spin up your own thing and, go to like Okta or whatever and see if, like incorporate all that stuff together. And that would give you some hands-on experience. But like you said, it's not something that you can lab very easily. So
I don't know if there is an awesome list. GitHub awesome list. I don't know if there is one
go.
for cloud, but
I'm
I
sure.
would take a look.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, you wouldn't be surprised. So this person wants to know which cert is better to get next, SSCP from ISC2 or Security Plus. I already have CC from ISC2.
SSCP.
Daniel, do you know SSCP?
So I have taught SSCP and Security Plus. Probably Security Plus if you're, it depends on where you're at. If you're already kind of at Security Plus, you probably get a little bit more out of SSCP than you would Security Plus. But if you don't have Security Plus yet, that might be a good first step instead. That'd be my guess. It's been a while since I messed around with SSCP. So.
Okay. Oh, John agrees. Okay,
John
he's
agrees.
giving the thumbs up. All right.
I haven't taken SSCP.
I haven't taken it either.
That makes all three of us.
Yeah.
We finally have something in common. This
Yeah.
is great. This next question says, what's next after quantum computers can instantly decrypt anything in seconds?
The singularity, or we're all just
apocalypse.
Yeah.
Leave the world behind. Netflix movie.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Black Mirror.
Okay.
Right. All the worst things.
Yeah, ACI Learning, your place for the bright outlook on the future. Yeah, real positive thinking there.
Yeah, when our digital overlords take over, and they will, make sure that you have given them a Snickers bar. So
it won't matter what happens after quantum computers could do that because we'll all be dead.
Yeah,
so awesome.
Probably
I feel great.
revert back to Luddites.
Best answer
or
is
something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think maybe we've got time for a couple more. This one comes to us from LinkedIn. Biggest issue with hardware keys.
Biggest issue with hardware keys. Oh, that accidentally leaking them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's thinking.
Make sure that it has a biometric scan on it. If it doesn't, then you are losing one of the pedestals of authentication. So your YubiKey should be plugged in, and then you should be able to touch it with your finger. If your hardware key doesn't have that, then you have lost one pedestal of the trio. You know what I mean? So,
good point.
Okay, good point. This is going to be our last one. Can you guys pronounce my name correctly in under 30 seconds? We'll put it up on the screen. Hopefully you can see it.
So Dinesh, Rajuli
from Zoom.
Dinesh.
I'm going to take the whole 30 seconds. To try
Do we get feedback on that?
Yeah, I wonder if they'll let us know. Parajuli? Parahuli?
Dinesh Parahuli?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with.
Okay,
that might go.
That's my attempt.
We'll see. We'll see. That was our attempt.
Parajuli,
maybe. Well, we did take the full 30 seconds to figure it out.
Yeah.
So hopefully one of those guesses was right.
Yeah.
I think they'll let us know in the chat. Hopefully if we did that right. And that brings us to the end of rapid fire.
What? It's
yeah, I know. What? Yeah, you were about to be real outraged at me for time passing. How did you enjoy that rapid fire session?
You for all
that's
the
my
worst
fault.
things of my life.
Oh, they said you were correct. You were correct on pronunciation. Don't know which one.
Right?
Because
we tried 4, but in there somewhere, we got it. Well, I'm glad because it's a nice thing to have your name pronounced correctly.
Yeah, one of your random guesses
Sophia.
came through. Thank you. I would call you Danielle, but you would hit me with your car. Well,
I
that
would
brings
never
us...
do that again.
Just the one time was enough.
You learned your lesson.
Oh boy. Well, we got through quite a few questions in the initial part and then in the rapid fire as well. So I like that segment. I'm glad we kept it around. I think that was a good time. I think that pretty much brings us to the end of our show. Damn.
John, parting words, any cool thing you're on your to-do list that we can check out with you, or just some cool stuff you got on the horizons?
Well, hey, I am trying my darndest to do some of the whole New Year's goals and improvements and benefits to make things better. So new production quality, new maybe look of the studio, trying to do a little bit more live streams, just trying to be out there more and more and more. So please don't hesitate. Don't be a stranger. You can track me down on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Twitter. But I hope to see you. Don't be a stranger. Consider me a friend.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, they're playing the Oscars music. I don't know if you have any parting words,
that's
Daniel.
the wrap it up music.
That's the wrap it up music. All right. We will go ahead and wrap it up, but keep in mind, we're going to have another All Things Cybersecurity webinar the first Thursday of every month this year. So keep an eye on this space. Thank you, John, for joining us. We'll have more guests in the future. New episode of Technado out today as well. Go check that out. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up. For Daniel Lowrie, I'm Sophie Goodwin, and thanks for joining us.